Hello and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are plunging headfirst into a topic that is absolutely central to how we feel, how we function, just about everything, really. Hormones.
That's right. They're like your body's most important messengers.
Totally. Influencing mood, energy, weight, sleep, the whole package. But, if they're so vital, why does it seem like so many people are feeling, well, out of balance, struggling with symptoms?
That is the big question, isn't it? And it's what we're digging into today. We've been looking closely at this program focused on natural solutions for hormone balance. It's actually put together by a naturopathic doctor who went through her own hormone struggles.
No, interesting. So personal experience baked in.
Exactly. And our mission here is really to unpack that material, pull out the key insights, the practical stuff, help you understand what these hormones are, why they matter so much, and explore this particular approach to finding balance. The author promises things like getting back energy, focus, drive, saying goodbye to that emotional roller coaster.
Okay, let's do it. So diving right in, what exactly are hormones? The material we looked at puts it really clearly, I thought.
Yeah, they're basically biological messengers made by our endocrine glands, think pituitary, thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, ovaries,
What?
testes.
All those key players.
And once they're released, they just jump into the bloodstream, travel around, and tell different organs and tissues what they need to do, like little instruction notes.
Instruction notes, I like that. And the estrogen example in the source was great for showing that. It doesn't just go to one spot, does it?
Not at all. It binds all over uterus, breasts, brain, bladder, blood vessels, bone.
Wow.
And it does different things in each place. Tells uterine tissue to grow, keeps the bladder lining healthy, helps blood vessels relax, prevents bone loss. It's incredibly efficient, really. One messenger, so many jobs.
Which gets to the why they're so important, right? It's not just one thing.
Oh, absolutely essential. For survival, even. They regulate blood sugar, weight, support the immune system, help us cope with stress,
Define sex characteristics, regulate cycles.
build muscle and bone, influence confidence, set our sleep patterns. And they're just fundamental for mood, energy, focus, all the emotional stuff, too.
Okay, and here's something that really jumped out at me from the source material. They don't just work alone.
That's such a crucial point. They're interconnected, constantly influencing each other.
The ovulation example really drove that home. You need what, like 5 different hormones all working together?
At least GnRH, FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone, all have to be in sync just for that one event each month.
Right, which means if you're feeling off, it's probably not just one hormone acting up, is it?
Very rarely. Because they're networked like that, an imbalance usually creates a kind of ripple effect. You're likely looking at multiple hormones needing some attention.
And that brings us to the modern challenge. The source really argues our environment makes this harder, does it?
It makes a strong case, yeah. Chronic stress, long work hours,
Yeah.
pollution, not enough sleep, maybe diets that aren't ideal.
All that stuff.
All of it makes it really tough for our bodies to produce and regulate hormones the way they're supposed to. And that's where you see this huge range of symptoms popping up. Anxiety, fatigue, hot flashes, weight gain, fertility issues, you name it.
And this particular program, it focuses on 6 key ones.
Yeah, the ones it sees as most commonly out of balance: thyroid, cortisol, the estrogens, progesterone, DHEA, and testosterone.
Okay. So if you're listening and thinking, maybe this is me, how do you even begin to figure out your specific imbalances? The source talks about symptoms.
Yes, deficit starts. Detailed questionnaires, symptom lists. Looking at those patterns can be incredibly insightful.
Let's maybe touch on a few of those symptom pictures just to give people a sense of how different they can look, like low thyroid.
Okay, low thyroid. Classic symptoms are often fatigue, like deep fatigue, weight gain that's hard to shift, maybe feeling down or depressed, headaches.
Had no oomph, feeling the source mentioned.
Exactly, that lack of get up and go. Plus feeling cold, maybe hair loss, especially the outer third of the eyebrows. That's a telltale sign sometimes.
Interesting. What about estrogen? It seems like it can go both ways.
It really can. Estrogen deficiency, think menopause, perimenopause, that's your classic hot flashes. Night sweats, insomnia, dryness everywhere.
Vaginal dryness, skin, eyes.
Yeah. Low libido, brain fog, poor memory. Bone loss risk increases too. But then estrogen excess, often more common before menopause.
Totally different picture.
Completely. Intense PMS, irritability, weight gain, but often specifically hips and thighs. Heavy, painful periods, tender breasts, anxiety, maybe even fibroids. Two sides of the coin.
Makes sense. And progesterone.
Progesterone deficiency is often linked with infertility, maybe a history of miscarriages. But also things like PMS again, irritability, insomnia, anxiety, heavy or painful periods, breast tenderness. It can crop up pre or post menopause.
Okay, and the big one, stress. Cortisol.
Right. Cortisol excess is basically your body stuck in fight or flight. So you feel wired, maybe anxious, irritable, can't sleep well.
The wired but tired feeling.
Exactly. And often significant weight gain around the abdomen, getting sick more often, maybe high blood pressure. Now, cortisol deficiency, that's often after burnout.
After the excess phase.
Often, yeah. The adrenals are just depleted. So this was like profound fatigue, brain fog, feeling totally overwhelmed, hard to concentrate, maybe crying easily, still irritable, but more from exhaustion.
Okay. And briefly, DHEA and testosterone, especially for women since they're sometimes overlooked.
Good point. DHEA deficiency can show up as poor concentration, more belly fat, low libido, loss of muscle tone, maybe even finding loud noises harder to tolerate. Links with aging, but stress is a big factor too.
And testosterone.
Testosterone deficiency in women.
Yeah.
Yeah, often missed can mean low libido, fatigue, finding it harder to keep muscle tone, easier to gain fat, sometimes a drop in confidence too.
You can really see how these symptoms could overlap, though.
Absolutely. Which again points back to that interconnectedness and why testing is often suggested alongside the symptoms.
Right. The source mentions blood work, maybe specific hormone tests, saliva, serum, to get a clearer picture.
Exactly. It provides another piece of the puzzle.
Okay, so you've got some idea of potential issues. This program has, what, a multi-step approach, but where does it start?
It starts with the absolute bedrock, diet and lifestyle. The source is very clear on this.
Non-negotiable.
Pretty much. It argues that without getting these foundations right, other things, supplements, even hormones, just won't be as effective. Your body's basic processes for making hormones, breaking them down, getting rid of excess, they need that solid base to work properly.
Okay, so let's unpack that foundational diet. What does it actually look like? What are the foods to include?
It's really about focusing on whole, natural foods.
Yeah.
Things humans have eaten for ages, minimally altered. So loads of vegetables, especially organic ones like broccoli, kale, spinach, garlic.
The good stuff.
Yep. And fruits, berries, apples, citrus are highlighted. Organic is stressed, partly to avoid pesticides, but also because healthier soil might mean more nutrients.
Makes sense. Protein.
Adequate lean protein from organic meats, eggs. Protein's crucial for actually building hormones and for metabolism. Again, caution about antibiotics or hormones in conventional sources.
And fats.
Healthy fats are vital. From seeds, oils like olive oil, avocado oil, they're needed for cell membranes, nerve function, and making hormones. Just careful not to overheat them.
Okay. Herbs, spices, water.
Yep. Use herbs and spices freely, basil, cinnamon, turmeric for flavor and benefits, and hydration is key. Aim for about 2 liters a day of filtered water, maybe unsweetened herbal teas.
Right, now the flip side. What does this approach say to avoid or limit?
This is focused on reducing things that cause inflammation or burden your detoxification systems, like the liver and gut.
Which are key for hormone balance.
Exactly. So top of the list is often wheat and gluten. Very common sensitivity linked to gut problems, mood, energy, weight gain.
Okay. What else?
Foods containing yeast, they can fuel Candida overgrowth, which causes all sorts of digestive issues, fatigue, weight gain, and sugar. Big one.
All kinds of sugar.
Pretty much. Added sugars, sugary foods. They feed Candida, mess with immune function, cause blood sugar swings, increase risk for obesity, diabetes. High fructose corn syrup gets a special mention as one to avoid completely.
Right. Caffeine, alcohol.
Yeah, caffeine stimulates that stress response, overworks the adrenals. Alcohol burdens the liver, which is trying to process and detoxify hormones. So limiting or avoiding those is recommended.
What about dairy? That's often debated.
The source suggests limiting or avoiding it. The perspective presented is that humans aren't really designed to digest it well past infancy, and it points to other calcium sources like leafy greens, almonds, beans, tofu.
Okay. And processed stuff.
Generally out. Processed packaged foods, cured meats, sodas, fruit juices. They're usually loaded with sugar, unhealthy fats, salt, preservatives, colorings, nitrates, all things that stress the body.
Are there any things to just limit rather than totally avoid?
Yeah, it suggests limiting red meat, choosing organic, grass-fed if you do eat it. Peanuts can be problematic for some due to mold or inflammation. And even some whole grains or legumes, suggesting thorough cooking in smaller portions because they can be harder to digest for some people.
Beyond the food groups, the source highlights specific nutrients too, right?
Yep.
Omega-3s and vitamin D.
Yes, hugely important. Omega-3s are essential. We have to get them from diet. Crucial for cell membranes, hormone synthesis, reducing inflammation.
And vitamin D?
Called powerhouse. It acts almost like a hormone itself, regulates immune function, supports hormone production, mood, bone health. Testing levels is really recommended because deficiency is just so incredibly common.
Okay, that's the diet foundation. What about lifestyle? Just as important.
Absolutely. Presented as equally vital. And maybe the biggest one for many of us today is stress.
Right. It's everywhere.
And the source explains why it impacts hormones so directly. Chronic stress makes your body prioritize making cortisol, the stress hormone, and it actually steals the building blocks away from making sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone.
Wow. Okay, so it directly lowers them.
It can, yes. So the advice is practical. Identify your big stressors, then brainstorm ways to reduce them. Maybe saying no more often, slowing down, asking for help, and building in stress reducers like meditation, yoga, deep breathing.
Makes sense. What else on the lifestyle front?
Sleep. It's non-negotiable. That's when your body does major repair work and hormone balancing. If you struggle with sleep, the source says get help for it.
Exercise.
Moderate exercise is great, can boost testosterone, improve muscle and bone, help with fat loss, increases metabolism, energy. Find something you enjoy.
And the environment. You mentioned xenoestrogens earlier.
Yes, cleaning up your environment. Avoiding those chemical estrogens found in plastics. BPA, PCB is also in many cosmetics like phthalates, parabens.
Cleaning supplies.
Yeah,
Pesticides.
conventional meat and dairy. The suggestions are things like switching to natural cleaners, using glass or stainless steel instead of plastic for food and water, filtering your drinking water, maybe an air purifier. The Environmental Working Group, EWG, is mentioned as a good resource for finding safer products.
Okay, so that's the foundation. Diet and lifestyle. What if that's not quite enough or someone has really specific needs? The program adds layers, right?
Yes, exactly. If the foundation isn't getting you all the way there, or for targeted support, the next layer is often nutritional supplements.
How are they used here?
They're seen as a way to provide specific nutrients that might be low or needed in higher amounts for hormone production or function, like vitamin C, E, B5, B6 are mentioned as really important for the adrenals to make cortisol properly.
Okay.
Magnesium is needed for adrenal enzymes. Iodine is crucial for thyroid hormone, but, and this is a big but.
Caution needed.
Yes. Very important caution for anyone with Hashimoto's, the autoimmune thyroid condition. Adding iodine can sometimes make it worse, so that needs careful handling, ideally with a practitioner. Zinc is mentioned for testosterone production.
And it also recommends some foundation supplements for most people.
Right. A good quality multivitamin, omega-3s, and vitamin D are suggested as beneficial basics for almost everyone, given how common nutrient gaps and vitamin D deficiency are.
Got it. What's the next layer after supplements? Herbs.
Yes, herbal support. Herbs can be really useful for targeting specific imbalances.
Like what? Any examples from the source?
Sure. It mentions black cohosh, often used for menopausal symptoms like hot flashes. Vitex, or chaste-tree berry, is commonly used for progesterone support, helping with PMS, irritability, even fertility.
Okay.
For stress and adrenal support, adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha or calming herbs like skullcap are mentioned. Google for thyroid support. And things like saw palmetto, tribulus, panax, ginseng for supporting testosterone levels.
Interesting. Homeopathy is also mentioned. That's quite specific.
It is. It's presented as another potential layer of highly personalized support.
How does that work in this context?
Well, the source describes choosing homeopathic remedies based not just on physical symptoms, but on the whole picture, including emotional states, personality traits, things that make symptoms better or worse.
So very individualized.
Exactly. Use examples like Ignatia for issues maybe linked to grief, or Lachesis for someone whose irritability or hot flashes are worse before their period but better once it starts, or Sepia for feelings of indifference or irritability in PMS or menopause. It's another tool in the toolbox, basically.
Okay. And finally, the program addresses hormone replacement therapy, but with a very specific focus, right, on bioidentical hormones. This feels like a big topic, often controversial.
It is, and the source tackles that head on. It draws a really clear line between bioidentical hormones and synthetic ones.
What's the difference, according to this material?
Bioidentical hormones are described as being molecularly identical to the hormones your own body makes. Estrogen is estrogen. Progesterone is progesterone. Synthetic hormones like Premarin from horse urine or progestin have a different chemical structure.
And why does that matter?
The source argues that the risks found in some big studies like the Women's Health Initiative, WHI, were largely linked to those synthetic hormones, often given in high doses and usually taken orally.
Orally is a key point.
Yes, because when you swallow hormones, they go through your liver, the first pass metabolism. The liver processes synthetics and even bioidenticals taken orally in ways that can create potentially problematic byproducts, things like certain clotting factors or forms of estrogen like estrogen sulfate, which has been linked to higher cancer risk in some studies.
Okay, so if someone is considering hormone therapy, what does the source recommend for doing it safely and effectively using bioidenticals?
Several key principles. First, use the lowest effective dose possible, tailored to the individual. Second, whenever possible, use delivery methods that bypass that liver first pass.
Like creams, patches.
Exactly. Transdermal creams, gels, patches, or sublingual under the tongue. This gets the hormone directly into the bloodstream, potentially reducing those byproducts and mimicking natural release better.
Is there an exception?
Bioidentical progesterone is often taken orally at bedtime. Part of the reason is that its metabolites can actually be calming and help with sleep.
Ah, okay. Any other principles?
Crucially, use hormones in the context of balancing the whole picture, not just chasing one number. And this is emphasized strongly. Bioidentical estrogen should always be balanced with bioidentical progesterone,
Why is that?
because progesterone naturally opposes estrogen's proliferative effect, its tendency to stimulate cell growth in tissues like the breast and uterus. Using them together is thought to potentially reduce the risk of estrogen-related cancers.
And monitoring.
Essential. Regular monitoring of hormone levels with a knowledgeable practitioner is stressed. The source does list potential benefits of appropriately used BHRT, things like reducing menopause symptoms, preventing osteoporosis, improving mood, sleep, memory, heart health, maybe reducing some cancer risks, enhancing libido, but always within that careful, balanced framework.
Okay, so pulling it all together. This program, as the source lays it out, it's really this layered approach. Starts with the non-negotiables, diet, lifestyle.
The foundation.
Yeah, and then adds targeted support if needed. Supplements, herbs, maybe homeopathy.
And potentially bioidentical hormones used carefully and correctly.
And the source includes case studies that show this in action.
Yes, several case studies. Paula, Mary, Louise, others which are quite illustrative. They show how combining different steps, often lifestyle changes plus specific supplements or maybe BHRT, led to real improvements in energy, mood, sleep, PMS, weight.
You mentioned Louise. What was her example?
Hers was interesting because it showed the power of the basics. Just focusing on stress reduction, adding walks, doing some meal prep, even those foundational shifts made a noticeable difference for her. It shows that even seemingly small steps can start moving the needle.
So it really presents itself as a comprehensive guide then, helping you understand your own body and work towards that balance. But it does stress working with someone knowledgeable.
Yes, consistently, especially if you're considering hormone testing or definitely if you're considering any form of hormone replacement. Having guidance is key.
Okay. So after diving deep into this material, what does it all boil down to really? What's the big takeaway?
I think a major takeaway is just how interconnected everything is, especially our hormones, and maybe more importantly, how much influence we potentially have over supporting them through our daily choices, diet, stress, sleep, environment. It feels like it shifts the perspective from feeling confused or stuck with symptoms.
So having an actual roadmap.
Exactly. An actionable plan that works with your body's natural processes rather than just trying to suppress symptoms.
What stands out most to you from exploring all this? Is there one piece that really hits home?
For me, it might be that direct link shown between chronic stress and the shunting of resources away from sex hormones. Seeing that mechanism spelled out, it really highlights why stress management isn't just a nice to have, it's physiologically essential for hormonal balance.
Yeah, that's powerful. Or maybe for someone else, it's the impact of specific foods, like seeing the connection between sugar or gluten and their symptoms, or just realizing there is a layered, holistic approach available.
Right. And this whole exploration suggests that those consistent efforts, even small ones, across diet, lifestyle, maybe targeted support, they can create this positive ripple effect, potentially restoring that sense of vitality and balance.
So maybe a question for everyone listening. Think about one small step, just one thing that resonated from our discussion today. Could it be trying one dietary tweak, finding 5 minutes for deep breathing, prioritizing sleep just a little bit more?
Could that be the start of a positive shift for you?
Because the underlying idea here, the one this material leaves us with, is pretty compelling. Optimal hormone balance isn't just about chasing symptoms away. It's really about building this solid foundation of health that lets your whole system work the way it's supposed to, allows you to thrive.
A foundation for thriving. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we've definitely covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, pulling out the key ideas and the practical steps from this source material on finding those happy hormones. Lots to think about.
Absolutely. Keep exploring what works for you.